Everybody, we are back. It is Safe to Watch Favorites Podcast, Favorites Channel, Favorites Everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like. If you like it, hit a comment if you don't like it. Also follow us on Twitter at the Markjohn NFL for me, at mholder95 for Matt. He'll be joining soon. And of course, pandasups.com. Discount code TDL for 35% off. All right, so the season's finally over here. There's gonna be no more Raiders football next week until what August, right? So yeah, no Raiders football till August. Then we get the draft. We got the draft starting here, and the Raiders ended with the ugly one. They finally played a team that had a starting quarterback. No, I'm not writing solo today. Just Matt has to watch the Jets game. The shit was taking way too long. The Jets just called a timeout. I'm like, what the fuck you calling timeout for? Just called a damn timeout. For no reason. They're winning. I don't know. Yeah, but the season's finally over. And the Raiders ended it with 34-20 loss here after they finally played a team that was, healthy. Right? The Raiders played a team that was healthy with a legitimate starting quarterback. And you saw how the defense looked. It looked like they needed Max Crosby out there, right? A little bit or something or somebody, somebody that can make some plays for the Raiders defense. So it ended up being an ugly game. Of course, they couldn't run the ball again today. It was Collier, some other dude in there. Oh, here's Matt. Here we go. Matt's here now. Here we go. Hey, Matt.
How's it going, bro?
What's up, man? Yeah, so I was saying how the Raiders finally played a legitimate starting quarterback and got their ass kicked.
Yep.
So the whole AP going after the season, with a certain amount of points, is not going to happen. And it's I don't know how good it looks for him after this loss. We'll see how it looks, especially at home with all the Chargers fans in there and them screaming "Go Chargers" after that last touchdown they had, I think, and Quentin Johnson having a career game, looking like Tom Telesco's like, he probably went with Dean Spanos and said, like, told you. After
Tom Telesco's sitting over there, like, patting himself on the back as Quentin Johnson goes for a career high 180 over to Cameron Richardson.
Yeah, he texted Dean Spanos just real quick, like, told you, man. Told you. So, but yeah, it's over, Matt. It's over. Season's over.
Yeah, it's finally over. Yeah, and I feel like today, I'm sure you're just touching on it, it's solidified to me. It's like, man, that 2-game win streak was really just fake. They're not the worst team in the league, but they're still pretty damn bad. This was a flat out ass whooping. Playing a legit quarterback, a better offensive line. I mean, I didn't realize Slater got injured in warmups. They didn't even have him, and they kind of. I mean, I don't know what the final was as far as the stats go with the rushing yards, but they kind of had their way there in the second half. Part of it was the offense not holding the ball at all, but it was a good old fashioned ass whooping. And
good old fashioned ass whooping in the season. I mean, it was fitting because I was talking about Patrick Graham's chain. He had a nice gold chain on today. I don't know if you saw it, Matt, when he just put it up in the booth. And I was thinking to myself, I was gonna tweet it out, but I got too many reporters following me to kind of be this kind of funny. But I was saying he's definitely getting ready for his last day in Vegas. He's about to hit the strip with his wife right after the game. So he had the chain on and his braids just done perfectly. He's about to hit the strip with his wife for the last time. So Patrick Graham is ready to go. And that's how they play defense today. They play defense just like, hey, let's just let Justin Herbert, who's going to take what the defense gives you, just up and down the field. It was crazy.
That was part of the frustrating part. Is I think, like you touched on it, like they literally Herbert just picked him apart in zone all day. Like the ball went exactly where the hole was every single time. And I think that's one thing. Like watching the Chargers going into this game, like that was one thing they were really good at. And yeah, like you said, Patrick Graham just said, "Screw it, we're just going to do whatever." And I mean, obviously saw them picking apart. Not that we expected much different, but we would have at least hoped the defense put up a little bit more of a fight than just getting picked apart basically the entire game.
Yeah, I was Justin Herbert was just picking them apart. It looked like he just had all day to throw. He had a 40-yard run. It was just all ugly on defense. I mean, the offense looked like they like they always do, especially when they the running backs who have looked good in this offense, they both got hurt. So you're back to Madison and then some guy, Collier, who I don't even know where he's
It
from.
was a sweet kick return.
Yeah, I mean,
They get a field goal out of that one.
yeah.
I know they didn't score a touchdown.
I don't know. I don't think so. They only got the red zone once.
Yeah, actually, I think they might have gone for it on that try for some reason. No, they punted it. So, they got a field goal. They got a field goal. I think.
Yeah, where's Collier from? Like, who is he? Where's he from? What school did he go to? He's from, doesn't even say on Yahoo. But
no, they did turn it over on downs.
Well, Lock Haven. So I don't know where the hell that is. That must be some.
I saw you tweet about it. I saw you tweet about it. I mean, I feel like the bigger story with that is lobby. Like I saw you tweet about it. Did you talk about that yet?
No, I ain't talking about. Yeah, I mean, I haven't talked about it yet. But yeah, right. That's some dude from Lock Haven, a rookie, undrafted, is
who I don't
playing
think
over
was
you
on the team until November. And I think he was on the practice squad at that. That's yeah. I don't know what Dylan Lobby did, but there might be nobody rooting harder for AP to lose his job than Dylan Lobby because he very clearly is in the doghouse and not getting any touches.
Something, man. Like, what did he do, man?
Around.
I mean, what did he do? That's why I tweeted that, because I was like, I mean, if this dude is getting carries over you in a game, they drafted him. It's not like, and drafting a running back in the 6th round and him playing year 1 is not crazy, right? It's not a crazy thing to think about. Yeah. Like, there's nothing shocking about that. Maybe like a DB
him playing in a season like this for sure, like where it's like, again, where they're down their top 2 running backs at this point in the year, and they were down Madison and White for what, at least 6 games this year. Those two combined, and the fact he didn't get any touches or barely any touches, and the ones he did, he fumbled on.
Yeah, because if you think about it next year, right? Even if Sincere McCormick comes back, he's come back healthy. I think Sincere McCormick's gonna have a chance to actually make the football team just because what he put on tape, right? Yeah. He looked like a very serviceable running back in the NFL. And Dylan Lobby has no tape. There's no tape for Dylan Lobby. There's one carry and he fumbled. He literally has no film. And he's not beating out Sincere McCormick, right? I mean, that would be your thought. And then they would trade somebody, and maybe if they keep Zamir White or something like that, which they might, he's still on a rookie contract. So if they keep him and then end up, taking Madison and let Madison go, and they bring in another running back, I mean, where's Dylan Lobby go? You know what I mean? He better be a damn good kick return next year. That's all I say.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to be entering OTAs, training camp, all that stuff on the bubble. Like, he's going to be one of those guys that we're going to be talking about a lot over the summer, which usually is not very good. Yeah, it usually means your spot might get taken, and like you said, it kind of already did by McCormick. I think when you mentioned McCormick battling for a roster spot, McCormick's battling for RB1. Dylan Lobby's the one battling for the roster spot, really.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, McCormick, like if they have a new coach, we'll talk about in a second. If they have a new coach, right, and it's offensive coach, and he likes McCormick, and you see the film, he had good film, man, and he might get a chance to get some carries. I'm not gonna say that he's gonna be the number 1 guy the whole season if they draft somebody, but he'll have a chance to be part of a backfield, like a duo. So, man, yeah, Dylan Lobby, he has to be just, I don't know what he's doing. He must I don't know. He must party a lot. That's the only thing I can think of why somebody would be playing is literally they party a lot.
Dad's a dance moves, man. Maybe he's hitting the club too much.
That shuffle was a little too good. He loves the house music, man, and dancing with the lights. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that in Vegas. You can find a lot of EDM clubs in Vegas. With the house music and
get some glow sticks.
Yeah, probably, you know what I'm saying?
Glow stick necklaces, like
him and Gardner Minshew and stuff. You know what I'm saying? He's out there with Gardner Minshew just getting in trouble. So that's the only thing I can think of, man. So I don't know. It's crazy. Yeah, because he said Bucky Irving with 13 picks we took. I mean, that's true. But,
I mean, I still like D'Karen Richardson's potential, but this season's been up and down and more downs this year more than anything. And this was a tough way to end it because it's still the same body type of receiver that he struggles against. Like, even like the bigger bodies, like, they've just given him trouble all year. Cortland Sutton did. I mean, Cortland Sutton's pretty good and whatnot. And even Quentin Johnson, who's not a marquee receiver, but a bigger dude, kind of beat him a handful of times today too. And the ball skills, lack of ball skills. Teams are gonna see him one-on-one and they're going to throw it up every time because they don't know if he can make a play on the ball. They trust that guy to win.
That's always when I say when you draft a corner, I'd rather have a guy who has bad technique and ball skills than a guy with like him that was like he didn't give up a lot of big plays in college, but he just had no ball skills at all because the reverse is just bad. I'd rather have a guy who gets interceptions and that can figure it out. So yeah, that's just me, in my opinion. So I don't know, but so I mean, the elephant in the room. I see a lot of questions at it. Do the Raiders go with AP? Do you believe Mark Davis will keep AP? And is AP gone? I heard
he's going to be a JDR. He's going to have to announce his own firing after the loss to the Chargers. We're going to get that moment again.
I don't think so. He said no comment a lot. He said no comment today a lot to his future with the Raiders. No comment.
That feels like the PR answer. That's like pleading the fifth. It's like the guiltiest thing you can do, even though it's technically not the measure of guilt is to plead the fifth. Yeah. That feels like that's a dead man walking a little bit.
I know. And Mark Davis is a late night guy. I mean, he fired Josh McDaniels. You were like asleep. You were about to go to sleep.
I was literally walking up to my bed when that happened, and then I got the notification and had to go run and do work for like another 20 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, that was funny shit. It was like 10:30 at night, bro. I was like, "What are you doing, man? Like, we're done reporting today. We don't need this."
Yeah.
So who knows? Mark might do it like 1 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying? You just be out at Hooters and just pissed watching something. You might see something like with Jim Harbaugh or the Chargers on the Sports Center or something. Just
he sees them out on the strip celebrating.
Yeah,
he sees them at PF Chang's.
Yeah, exactly. He just makes the phone call and just fire his ass. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but him saying no comment is a little telling though. But I mean, because if you be honest, like I said, I think it was more the feel of this game, in my opinion. Like if the Raiders, like, this is a close game and I came down the wire maybe, and they, against a team that's playing their whole starters and they came down to the wire and they lost by like a field goal or some shit, that would be different. But it's more about that they ended up getting
it showed you how far off they are.
Yeah.
It showed you how far off they are from a team that is a wild card team, is a good team, but like when you're thinking about it, like when you're stacking up when you're measuring yourself against other playoff teams, like you'd have like to have been competitive against a team that's not even winning the division.
Yeah, it was bad all around, man. And like I said, you could talk about the depleted players and things like that. But I think this, even the media part of it, and them being like, well, the Broncos have Jim Harbaugh, not the Broncos have Jim Harbaugh, Sean Payton, Chargers have Jim Harbaugh, Andy Reid. Can you compete? And I still think a lot of owners are controlled by the media. They watch a lot of TV still, I think. Especially like Woody Johnson, he's talking about, he's checking Madden ratings and stuff like that. I remember the story where like Bill Belichick used to say Art Modell used to call him about Tony Grossi's comments on the radio. So they do shit like that. They do a lot of stuff like that where they're like, they take what other people are saying into account, and the media's reaction and the fans' reaction to games, and that's why I think he's done after this.
Yeah, I get the feeling, like you said. I did think he bought himself a little bit of credit with the last 2 wins, but losing the way they did today and not even being competitive, like if it was AP's job on the line today, like I don't know how you keep him, and I don't know how, and it does kind of reinforce that the last 2 weeks were beating 2 bad teams with backup quarterbacks at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that shouldn't. I said it before. I said it weeks ago. Like that should not save your job. I'm sorry. If you were gonna fire him, Mark Davis, you should have like the 2 weeks before this should not have mattered 1 ounce.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter 1 ounce. I agree with you there, dude. It's. I mean, now they got to go in the coaching search and find somebody. So we'll see what they do. It's definitely not gonna be Mike Vrabel, because that was obviously I don't know. I don't know how Robert Kraft's gonna get past the Rooney Rule, but some black guy's gonna get some random interview tomorrow. Some tight end coach. He's getting the
Interview
red.
Gerard Mayo one more time for it, just to make, hey, Gerard, do us one more favor on the way out.
Patrick Graham's getting interviewed for the Patriots job tomorrow, so they can hire Mike Vrabel. So he's off. He's off, right? I mean, I guess he already changed his. I don't know if you saw this. He already changed his profile picture to him back with the Patriots.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So,
I mean, like, because I know his contract ended, I think, last week with the Browns. So are we giving like Vrabel like the Kyler Murray effect, where like we're digging through his Instagram to see if there's any clues? I don't know. I feel like Vrabes does he know his Instagram account or social media password? Like, he
I
doesn't
mean, I don't know.
strike me as a guy that really cares or wants to manage that. I feel like that's just throwing around. But I
I
do
don't know,
think
man.
you are right in that he's going to be their number one target, especially if Kraft wants like a Patriots guy. But
Yeah, man. It was Kraft's going for Vrabel. So I mean, it just goes to the question. I see somebody talking about like Liam Cohen, like who is going to be the Raiders' next head coach, right? Who is it really going to be?
yeah, I mean, assuming my bid last week to try and pair Cam Ward with Joe Brady, but problem is the Patriots winning kind of screws that out of or potentially screws that out of the equation. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I like Liam Cohen. I'd still like to take a swing at a guy like Joe Brady. I think that'd be an interesting hire. I think that'd be probably one of the more risky ones because he is younger and doesn't have as much like NFL experience. But I also feel like he could potentially be like a next Sean McVay type of guy. So he'd be kind of my pitch for my realistic number one target, and then a guy like Cohen, maybe Slovic or someone like that, who I know this past year hasn't been good in Houston, but at least he can work with a rookie quarterback and work with a young quarterback, and it's from the coaching tree you want to pick from.
Yeah, I mean, there's somebody Todd Monken too.
And a lot of people have been asking about him. It's an interesting one.
Yeah. Okafor had me checking Twitter. I was like, "What is he?" He had me checking Twitter right now, so I was on my phone. I was like, "Oh shit!" I
Just asking.
Wow. Is it official? Because I was like,
I don't think so.
I was like, have you search it, bro? I was like, oh shit. Uh-oh. Yeah. I do see some trade for Joe Milton's, which he did look pretty good today. I did say that he had some pro potential on our Senior Bowl breakdown last year. I just want to say that. I did
Joe
say
Milton?
that. Yeah, I did. I said his film is not that bad. He looked pretty good today. I don't know. I don't know what that would take. But I don't know. It wouldn't bother me too much, to be honest.
he built too much draft stock or built too much trade value this week.
I don't know. He might have, man. I don't know. For that that fourth or fifth or something. I don't know, man. I don't know. I know he was against third stringers, but man, just saying he looked pretty. He looked all right today. he looked all right. All right. I don't know what else to talk about. Jacoby Myers got over 1,000 yards. Shout out Jacoby Myers.
Yeah.
Shout out.
I mean, I felt like I was worried his production was going to drop after the Devontae Adams trade, but he ended up stepping up pretty well. I mean, still think obviously Brock Bowers is number one, the guy they're going to run the offense through, but Myers to me, I mean, him finishing with 1,000, obviously very clearly at the beginning of the game, they were doing what they could to get him for it, similar to what they did with Bowers the week before, but and eclipsing 1K, like that to me solidifies he can be a good number two, at least in your offense. He's a damn good player that hopefully they'll keep around in this offseason, entering a contract year next year. So we'll see.
Yeah. Nothing really else to talk about the Raiders. Just get these questions because
Draft.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get draft questions. So you know what I'm saying.
There we go.
Or what do you do if the Raiders, knowing you have to need that quarterback and might not get one at the first, who do you pick up in the second, or try to trade, and what coach do you go after? What's your thoughts, Matt?
That was directed to you, man. You can go first.
Yeah. I was directed because it's the name right.
I'm not taking the bait on that one first.
Yeah, that is true. Might not get one the first. I mean, your second round, you're looking at Carson Beck, Jalen Monroe. That's what you're looking at. You're looking at Carson Beck, Jalen Monroe. right? And I kind of want to stop talking about Carson Beck because I feel like I keep talking about it, and I feel like it might happen if I keep talking about it. So I
I
don't
would
even know
like
if I
to
want to
too.
even cover. I don't even know if I want to cover him during the draft process. Like it's one of those things at this point. But that is the possibility if you can't get one in the first. And then, to trade for, I don't know, man. I mean, to trade for, you have to look into like the Geno Smiths and stuff like that, or hope the Rams want to part with
I think,
Matthew Stafford or something like crazy like that. I mean, that's the only thing you could think of. And, McVay wants to bring back Sam Darnold or something crazy. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, I think I think in the second round, I think it's got to be Milrow. I mean, I talked about back the last time we talked about it. I'm out on Carson Beck pretty badly. Like, dude, it's just some ugly tape from this past year.
Yeah.
Jackson Dart, maybe, I don't know. He's kind of grown on me in the last few weeks, just
Mhm.
from seeing it from the arm talent standpoint. But I feel like he's kind of almost the same, similar prospect as Carson Beck. Is can't really read the field, but does have the arm talent.
Mhm.
The guy that you might want to look into trading, I mean, I'll say again, J.J. McCarthy, if he's becomes available for some reason, you at
Mhm.
least look into that. I mean, the only one I can think of, like I'm looking at the draft order, Tennessee has the number one pick. Will Levis is stock's pretty low. Maybe you can get him for cheap and bring him in as a chance, but obviously it hasn't been very good for Levis in the last 2 weeks. That's the
Yeah.
one young guy that brings mind. Because if you bring in Geno Smith, like or Matthew Stafford, like you're going to bring them in for what? Like are they making you a playoff and Super Bowl contender if they join this roster as is?
No.
Like I'd rather see them go after a young guy. Kind of my point there.
They said Minnesota today said he wasn't available. People are no on Ewers. There's Will Howard too. I don't know. Maybe Will Howard, man. Maybe Will Howard.
He keeps playing. That's true. If we get playoff Will Howard, if he keeps playing like this in the last couple of weeks, then maybe he gets into that conversation.
Yeah, people start asking about him for sure. Next question. Should the Raiders take Will Johnson or Abdul Carter? And who has the bigger impact for the 2025-2026 season?
Between those two,
Yeah.
Will Johnson, I think. I mean, I think our Abdullah Carter's good, but I think he's a lot more potential than like a lot of people realize right now. I think he's a little more raw. Whereas Will Johnson, like I know this past year he got the injury, but his tape was pretty damn clean last year at Michigan.
Mm.
And I think for me too, like you have Max Crosby, assuming you still have Max Crosby, you have Chase Young, you have Malcolm Kuntz that you can re-sign. You have young pass rushers, like go get you the number one corner that you've been looking for the last year. We know Jack Jones isn't it. Cameron Richardson doesn't quite look it. You pair Will Johnson with Corian Bennett, who had a good year for most of the year. Like, might have yourself a good little young cornerback duo to complement your good pass rush.
Yeah, I like Will Johnson a lot just because watching Michigan film last year and then seeing when he did play this year, he had like 2 pick sixes or some shit. So
Yeah.
he's a stud, and like there's a chance that he might be better than Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like that the upside and needing a corner, right? And usually when corners you take a corner that high, usually they're pretty good lately. You look at Stingley, you look at Sauce Gardner. I'm trying to think of some other corners that went pretty high. They're pretty damn good. I mean, even Quinyon Mitchell. Those guys are when you take them that high, they end up being pretty damn good. So that's why I would stick to corner. But that's just me, in my opinion. These questions. AP, any chance the rumors surrounding Kevin O'Connor are true and reverse the Gruden trade?
I want you to ask yourself this: do you think it is realistic that the guy that is universally considered the head coach of the year, who has a team with Sam Darnold, whose career was dead before this season, and a lot of people were saying they were picking them to be last, has them about to compete for the number one seed in the NFC? Do you think they're actually going to let that coach walk? No.
I agree with you, but I've seen crazier things. But the thing is like I kind of
If they
understand why the
pick
buzz
Sam
is happening.
Darnold over Kevin O'Connell, the Vikings deserve everything that comes to that franchise. There's no chance they're letting him go.
They're probably going to extend him on Monday just because that rumor came out. He's going to get extension on Monday because the rumor came out. He's going to get one. They're probably writing it up right now. But yeah, man.
Especially if they win tonight. Yeah. He might sign it in the locker room.
Exactly. What has AP done to keep his job? Nothing, probably. Do they land a blue chip player at 6? I say yeah. I still think they can get a quarterback at 6. I mean, I don't think that's totally out of the realm at this
So
point. Like,
here's my issue with them picking at 6. Yes, they're at 6, and like it's like, oh yeah, you can move up. The problem is the teams that are 1, 2, and 3. So you have a big wall in front of you, and the Titans, Browns, and Giants. So if they want a quarterback, it's going to be like last year where you hit this wall of like, well, if they like the guy, they're not going to trade out of it. They're just going to
yeah,
take him. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Whereas, and if they don't like the guy, then it's like, all right, well, what do they know that we don't? Kind of thing. So that's like, yes, they are within range of the quarterback, but they're sitting behind a huge wall behind one that makes it pretty damn tough for them to find one. And if they do find one, now you think you have to have send off like alarm signals in your brain of like, what do they know? Like, what's wrong?
yeah.
Is this a draft day situation where they didn't show up, where his teammates didn't show up to his birthday party?
Yeah, exactly. So let's go to make work his magic at 6 again. I hope so, man. I hope so. I hope so. I still think that there's a chance that these guys fall. Right. I don't know if Cam Ward's going to fall at this point, but I think really is a chance that Sanders falls. Because I still think at the NFL, like when they really get into his film, he's going to have to interview his way into the top 5 because he doesn't have top 5 quarterback ability. Like, I'm just going to keep it real. He doesn't have that. Like he doesn't have that. Like, he doesn't have a trait that you could say like is a top 5 trait. Like, he's not big, right? He doesn't have a big arm.
Yeah.
He's not very fast. You know what I mean? He's just
good. He's just good, not great. And it's just kind of like,
yeah, right. So he's gonna have to interview his way.
Yeah.
So he's at to interview his way into the top 5. That's why I think there's still a chance that they can get him at 6. Like, especially because all those things are coming out now. Because I think, people are, starting to get into it a little bit now with the quarterbacks. It's just that draft season is starting. And
yeah,
I still thought him going to the East West Shrine Bowl was a little interesting. I don't, maybe you know more about that, Matt, than I do, but I thought that was weird.
It was like all the Colorado dudes over there. So I wonder if Colorado's like, they got some sort of like connection with Galco, with Eric Galco there. Because literally like every Colorado dude that's playing a game, obviously Travis Hunter, I don't think doesn't need to, is going to the East West Triangle over the Senior Bowl. That was interesting to me. So sometimes I think it's like, oh, maybe Galco has a guy over at Colorado that's kind of influencing them and pushing them that way. So,
yeah. Is Joe Milton worth a look?
You're talking to his number 1 supporter over there.
Yes, me.
The Joe Milton propaganda campaign is getting a reboot.
Bring your 6'5" ass over here with that cannon, man, and we'll see. And then if it, hey, and then we'll draft somebody. And then if he beats him out, hey, look at it. We got him.
Especially the fact that they have like the extra 3rd round pick. Not saying that they'd give up a 3rd round pick, but like if you want to give up like a 4th, the extra 3rd like makes it easier. It's like, yeah, we'll throw that one away, because especially if we're not going to get like anything much better in this year's draft class, like a shot.
Yeah.
Throw it at him.
How do you rebuild the Raiders this offseason?
You hope Drew Alec enters the draft. I don't know.
From a serious standpoint, I think the offense isn't that far off, right? So you just need to get a quarterback for offense. I think if you have Myers, I like Trey Tucker, Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer. The offensive line is still young, so I think they have a foundation on offense that's already there. I think this offseason they got to rebuild the defense. They need corners, they need linebackers, and you can make the case that they need safeties, right? So they got to rebuild the defense. I think the defense has to be rebuilt this offseason. I think the offense doesn't need maybe some tiny tweaks or maybe add a player, I don't know, small things, but like defense needs to be. I mean, the Raiders need, like I said, they need a corner, right? Maybe 2. If they don't take Hobbs, maybe 3. They need a linebacker because you let Diablo go, right? Did you bring another linebacker? You know what I'm saying? Like the defense needs to be rebuilt, like big time, right? And I think that's, everybody, we talk about offense all the time, but I mean, I think the defense is a little bit of an issue there.
Yeah, I mean, I think the O line's solid. I think you have Jacoby Myers for another year. I like it if they could get a guy like I know you're gonna I know you're gonna pound the drum for this and during free agency. If they can get a guy like T Higgins who's still young and can be another playmaker for you out wide and help out a young quarterback. Just the big pieces. Can they find the quarterback? Is that quarterback around in this year's offseason, which is looking tough at this point. It's very questionable at this point.
Yeah, yeah. All right, let's get to some of these questions here. Where was that? Where was that? Kind of ask this one. What do you think it take to move up to get to pick one or two to get a QP? I don't know. I mean, like I said, you're right, man. It depends on like if it happened last year. It depends on who's picking it. Who's picking it too?
Cleveland.
I mean,
Who I forget what the quote was, but someone was asked about Deshaun Watson being a starter, and it was basically like a nondescript answer of like he's going to have to get better. Basically, not answering the question by answering the question by not answering the question. So
yeah, he's got to get healthy.
yeah. I think that was something about it. It's like he's got to get healthy. It's like, and the fact that they restructured their contract to make it easier to swallow. Yeah, and that's the problem. Is it like to go from 6-1 on paper, right? Wouldn't be much, but again, if you're looking at the Titans who benched Will Levis multiple times this year, twice this year. The Browns, who had to restructure the worst quarterback contract maybe in NFL history and clearly need a quarterback. And the Giants, who we all know are going after a quarterback after they've already given up on Daniel Jones.
Mm-hmm.
One of those three teams has to be willing to budge to be able to make that happen. If they like Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward, Raiders are SOL.
Yeah.
This problem with beating the Jaguars and Saints.
Yeah, I agree, dude. All right, I'm trying to get to all you guys' questions here. We're going to run out of time here. I got to drop my kids off here. What round would you like to pick up Milroe? I would say second round, probably. Y'all like Dart, Beck, Ewers, or Moreau more? I mean, a lot of people ask about Jackson Dart. Somebody asked about Jackson Dart too. Have I watched Jackson Dart yet? I watched a little bit of Jackson Dart this weekend, and I just you're right, man. He just doesn't see the field well. That's really what it is.
Yeah, he plays in that offense where it's one read. Mm-hmm. It's one read, and when you get him off of that, he'll throw it up. Him and Beck are very similar.
Yeah, exactly. See, like I said, the scary thing about Beck is Beck's film last year is pretty good. That's what scares me about him, is that they might make excuses for him. The excuse train is ready. And do you think the Titans are taking a quarterback? And what about Todd Monken? We kind of talked about Todd Monken a little bit.
I mean, I think the thing that would intrigue me is if they hired Todd Monken and then did draft Jalen Milroe, because it's like obviously he's not Lamar Jackson, but similar skill set with the big arm and the mobility. So like I could see the vision, so to speak, in that one. I'm not going to hold my breath that saying that would work, but that would be interesting to me to pair those two guys together, because obviously Monken has experience working with a quarterback like that could make it work. Be interesting.
Yeah. You guys think Liam Cohen could fix one of these broken QBs? Like, I mean, he coached Will Levis in Kentucky, didn't he?
Trust me. If they hire Liam Cohen, he wants nothing to do with Will Levis. The reason why Liam Cohen is not a head coach right now, or not a higher profile like offensive coordinator going into this year, is because of Will Levis, because of them working together in Kentucky, and that killed both of their stocks.
Yeah,
as we've seen in this last year, it might have done more harm to Liam Cohen unjustly than it did Will Levis.
All right, a couple more questions here. What about linebacker? Matt, you answer that question. I know you watched the linebackers.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting class. Like, there's some guys that didn't pan out this year, but there is some an interesting cluster in second and third round guys. Like a guy like Barrett Carter, someone who kind of intrigues me out of Clemson. Let's see, Jahad Campbell, someone who I don't think might go in the first round. He might go in that late first round, but if he's around in the second, he'd be interesting. He kind of reminds me of Edwin Cooper from last year's class, where Cooper kind of rose up the draft boards during the 2023 season. And they have similar play styles where they both can fly. Cooper's got pretty good eyes and coverage and stuff like that. And he played the run a little bit, does need to get a little bit stronger, but that would be kind of one guy I'd look at in the early second if he ends up sliding that far. But those are kind of the two that really stand out the most to me right now.
Yeah. how long you guys do your first mock draft? I don't know. I mean, probably give me a little bit so I could do some research. I don't like doing blind mock
We don't
drafts.
do a ton of mock drafts, to be honest with you. We usually don't.
That's me and Glenn. That's what me and Glenn do. Me and Glenn do the mock drafts.
Yeah, gotcha.
We'll do that. We'll do that for you, man. Why would a coach want to come to the Raiders now?
It's an opening. It's right. I mean, that's one of the issues. Like people ask me about Ben Johnson. I'm like, well, here's the thing with Ben Johnson. He's going to be the number one commodity, and we know he's already picky. If he doesn't see a clear path to getting a quarterback into Las Vegas, he's not going to want to come to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Like he's going to go to probably maybe New York or Jacksonville if they get rid of Doug Peterson and they can coach Trevor Lawrence. Like that's the thing. Like it is a valid question of like what offensive minded coach is going to want to come here where the quarterback situation is still unsettled.
Yeah, I agree. So Will Howard, we'll get Will Howard. I'll look into Will Howard. I'm looking at everybody, guys. Actually, I think that's it. I think that we'll get out of here, guys. So yeah, that's the Raiders season. The Raiders went 4-13. What it was? Raiders 4-13. So it is draft time. So just want to tell you guys, YouTube sucks with the draft right now. I know they're not doing some other things, so we're gonna be doing a lot of stuff in the members section. We're still gonna do the shows and stuff like that, but you definitely want to, if you want to support the channel, join the member section. I'm gonna be pumping them boys out like crazy. I'm gonna be doing that. I'm gonna make sure to focus on that to make sure I give you guys that content and what you're paying for. So that's my focus during the draft season. All right, so we do a lot of those member videos, and then also, support the channel that way because they're not gonna let us monetize the shows. I'm gonna tell you that right now. They're gonna be hating. So our free agent shows though will be fine.
Yeah.
But the draft, they're good. I don't know who it's a monopoly from with the XO Cloud guys. They're like Universal. They're like UMG record label and have taken over all 22. So for college,
I'm convinced they have someone whose full-time job it is just to go through social media and find these clips.
Yeah. And then they'll mark your ass if you try to fight it. So support the channel, support the members, guys. Support the channel that way. We'll still bust out these draft videos. Yeah, he said, what about X? Yeah, we'll be able to just post them on Twitter, of course. That's fine. But they were trying to flag people on Twitter, but I think they stopped doing that. But YouTube, they're gonna flag us. So, but make sure you guys support the channel that way. And then of course we do cover free agency, we do all that good stuff. So of course, you know how the show goes. We'll be at the Senior Bowl, we'll be at the Combine, all that good shit. We'll be doing all these good shows. So look out for it. We cover the draft all the time, man. All right, guys, we're out of here. Peace.